My name is Cody Brown, and you've got to meet my family. I'm a polygamist, but we're not the polygamist you think you know. I have 3 awesome wives, Meri, Janelle, and Christine. Love should be multiplied, not divided.
During my last Monday night live stream, we discussed just how different Cody is now versus when the show started. Really, the entire family has done a 180. I discussed during my Monday night live stream, I've actually mentioned it several times on this channel, that for the first several seasons, I really liked Cody. Something else that I've discussed multiple times on this channel is that their 2012 memoir, Becoming Sister Wives, seemed to at times directly contradict the way the family was portraying themselves on the show. It was kind of mysterious. When the series premiered, it really was a hard sell that polygamists, at least these polygamists, they're just like us. It was all peace and love and kumbaya, and look at our family and how functional we are as we navigate what many would consider to be a complicated family dynamic. Specifically, Cody Brown was really hard selling the fact that he was a loving family man and that he loved all of his wives and all of his kids equally. The sister wives were hard selling that they obviously adored Cody and that they all were working together to raise the children and that they all loved each other too. When the topic of jealousy would be brought up or asked in interviews, the reaction was like, jealousy? Who is she? We don't know her. That was an emotion that was dealt with a long time ago. Well, as it turns out, it appears that the early seasons of the show Sister Wives were just a bunch of BS propaganda. It would appear that the book actually more accurately depicted the family dynamics in those early days and the struggles that would continue to persist throughout the years. What we see playing out on the show now that the family is falling apart is that the relationship between the 5 adults have been rocky and fractured for years. Today, I want to talk about just how fake those early seasons of the show was. Let's get into today's video. Hey everybody, what's up? It's Sarah and welcome back to my channel. I've mentioned this a few times this season, but one of the most interesting things to me when watching season 17 has been, for the most part, I feel like all of the family members have been more transparent and more honest and more genuine in their interviews and their recounting of their truths. Robin seems to be one of the lone holdouts desperately trying to sell this narrative that the family is way more functional than it actually is. The problem is that every time Robin tries to spin a tale of woe, Cody comes in and just messes everything up by opening his mouth. In the beginning, when Sister Wives premiered, one of the things that I would say drew me in and captivated my curiosity about this family was that they seemed so functional. Cody seemed a little high energy, maybe even a little dopey, but generally speaking, he seemed well-intentioned. I did not grow up around polygamy. I did not grow up with any exposure to polygamy. The only knowledge of polygamy that I had before this show came out was Warren Jeffs and everything that was going on, all the criminal charges that were coming out of his group. And it seemed like a really scary bad situation. Cody Brown and his family come on the scene. They're featured on this show, and they just seem completely different than any notion I had before of what polygamy was. They didn't wear the prairie style dresses. They didn't have their hair kept in a specific fashion. The kids integrated into public schools. They worked in and amongst the community. They were active in their communities. And ultimately, Cody's big point was that they just wanted to be allowed to live their lifestyle without the fear of prosecution. This seemed fair to me. It was easy to turn a blind eye in those early years to things like the obvious parentification of the children because the adults were just so likable. When you read national bestseller Becoming Sister Wives, you read about the early struggles of the family. And actually, Meri and Janelle's rocky relationship was featured prominently throughout the show. But in my opinion, what the show portrayed was that the bulk of the tension and animosity was between Meri and Janelle, and that Christine was brought in to be some sort of mediator, which I do think is true to a large extent. However, what you learn when you read the book and when you watch the show now and all of the revelations that are coming out about those early days is that, for one, Cody always did a piss poor job of managing the family dynamic. For a man that now demands blind obedience and compliance, I'm actually genuinely concerned about his ability to oversee all of his kids, all of his relationships, and all that goes into this 23-member family. The wives speak often about not being able to rely on Cody to get things done. Even Robin mentioned that back in season 16 when the family gathers to have some sort of cookout on Coyote Pass. Robin says that she can't rely on Cody to even watch the kids. Cody's shortcomings as a husband and father have led all of the wives to find their own independence over the years. They have figured out ways to get done what they need to get done. Honestly, it seems like it would literally be to their detriment to now turn to Cody to rely on him to get anything done. You can call me naive, you can call me a sucker. I think both of those would be fair assessments because I was totally buying what the Browns were selling during those early seasons. To learn now that it's been over a decade since Cody and Meri have had an intimate marriage, or that Christine's kids wish that she had left Cody prior to the move to Vegas, or that Christine and Meri actually had this huge falling out back in Lehigh. I mean, all of this is news that has floored me, to be honest. I see that all of the relationships have deteriorated over the years and they're in a really bad place now. But it honestly has been a little bit of news to me that these fractures existed well before Las Vegas, seemingly when the family was the most functional. Let's talk about Meri and Christine for a moment. Early seasons of the show would have us believe that Christine was brought in to be a peacekeeper to Meri and Janelle's rocky relationship. It was Janelle and Meri that couldn't even ride in a car together. It was actually quite surprising to me to read in their 2012 memoir that Christine actually confronted Meri and it kind of turned into a really big argument. So this is an excerpt from the book, and this was about Meri's treatment of Christine's kids. And Christine writes, "About a year before I became pregnant with Truly, I had a devastating argument with Meri. For a while, I had been feeling that she was too tough on my kids. While I understand that all children need discipline, I often felt that she went too far when it came to my children. It seemed to me that she was taking her frustrations out on my kids in particular. As a result of this, many of them were wary of her and were afraid to cross her accidentally. I let this situation go on too long. I let my emotions well up. Instead of talking to Meri calmly and explaining what I had observed her doing and how she might fix her behavior, I exploded. I yelled and screamed and told her to stop talking to my kids and to stop interfering in their lives. Since I'm afraid of confrontation, I always allow stuff to build up till it's too late. So instead of trying to work it out with Meri, I just shut her out. Well, come to find out, 17 seasons into the show, Christine actually somewhat ended her friendship with Meri at that point.
Because I ended the friendship. I ended the relationship. I did. I ended it. It wasn't safe for me anymore. And I ended it. And I just told her straight up, no, we're not going to be friends because I don't trust you.
And this was all before the family even moved to Las Vegas. Christine actually describes her relationship with Meri as not a relationship that made her feel safe, which is a really loaded statement to make. One of the things that I have found actually quite refreshing so far during the season 17 tell-all, Meri is not going along with Cody's attempt to rewrite the history of their relationship. One of the biggest revelations so far, where it was revealed that at some point, Cody thought about reconciling with Meri, so he claims. We actually learned last year during the season 16 tell-all that Meri and Cody had not had an intimate relationship in more than a decade. It was well before the catfish incident. It was when, coincidentally, Robin came into the family. Cody attempts to convince the host, Sukanya Krishnan, and us, the viewer, that there was a point where he considered a reconciliation with Meri after she gifted him some Rice Krispie treats. I've always hated the fact that, especially it's prevalent in the early seasons, the wives kind of just go along with what Cody's versions of events are in an effort, it seems like, to put on a united front. That sentiment is long gone, and I am loving it. I am loving the honesty and the transparency. Meri is genuinely confused here by Sukanya coming to her and saying that Cody said he once considered a reconciliation. She is like, what? And it wasn't in a, oh my God, I can't believe he still loves me type of way. But it was more in a, no, Sukanya, girl, that could literally never happen. That man is full of shit type of way. I'm really curious to hear what you guys have to say about how your perception of the show was in the beginning versus what it is now. Has it been a complete 180 like with how I view the show? Let me know down in the comments. As always, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at realiteasquad, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Have a good one. Much love.